Hi, my name is Jingxian, and today my topic is anti-bullying role-playing games in a UK secondary school. And here is a table of contents. Now let's start with introduction. The official figures publicized in Daily Mail were alarming. In 2011, nearly 300 secondary school students in England were expelled due to their use of violence, and 70,000 students were suspended from class due to bullying. The study by Britain's largest anti-bullying institution in 2015 showed that almost a half of teenagers had been bullied. And there are 5 different types of school bullying, which includes physical, verbal, emotional, sexual, and cyber. And preliminary work scoping studies that serves to these points, and I will go through these points later. Scoping study. School bullying refers to all kinds of violence and abuse taking place in educational setting. Bullying is an act of repeated aggressive behavior in order to physically or mentally hurt another person in an intentional way. According to Graham, an individual behaving in a certain way to gain power over another is the main characteristic of bullying. It is a serious issue waiting to be addressed urgently because bullying can do severe harm to both the bullied and the bullies. The literature tells that all students could be victims of bullying, and students from poor backgrounds, minority groups with physical defects, colors, and that are suspected and proved LGBT are frequently the targets of bullying. The literature also tells that despite the seriousness of bullying in school, teachers failed to take measures for intervention due to their poor perception, low self-efficacy, insufficient skills, and heavy workload. Trans-theoretical model of behavior change is an integrative theory of therapy that assesses an individual's readiness to act on a new healthier behavior and provide interventions to guide the individual. This model consists of such constructs as stages of change, processes of change, level of change, self-efficacy, and decisional balance. People in the pre-contemplation stage do not intend to take action in the foreseeable future because of being uninformed about the consequence of harmful behavior. Contemplation is the stage where people intend to change in the next 6 months because pros. However, people are likely to remain in this stage for a long period because of the weighing between costs and benefits. Preparation is the stage in which people intend to take action in the immediate future, usually measured as the next month. Action is the stage in which people have made specific overt modifications in their lifestyles within the past 6 months, and maintenance is the stage in which people have made a specific overt modification in their lifestyles and working to prevent relapse. Stages of change lie at the heart of the model. People move through a series of stages when modifying behavior. Based on the above analysis, the preferred intervention is role-playing game led by teacher. The target audience is all students who can be bullied and the bullied and the witnesses in bullying incidents. Okay, and the next is the intervention plan, and here is the structure. The intervention plan aims to win the ready cooperation of target audience, partners, and stakeholders, and it also aims to enhance awareness, improve attitude, empathy, and encourage the actions of students so that they can avoid being bullied and actively fight against bullying. In addition to teachers, students and other relevant faculty members, psychologistic firm, a renowned home, and a junior psychiatric hospital and potential partners. Psychologistic offers counseling and diagnosis to both the ballet and ballets. The psychiatric hospital introduces the tragic consequence of bullying in order to muster up the courage of the ballet, arouse the sympathy of witnesses, and cultivates the compassion of ballets. A renowned home or reformatory is invited to remind the ending of ballets causing grave consequences. Parents are the most important stakeholders in the intervention. Their deep concern, active participation, and cooperation can give safety and support to students. Marketing mix. Phase 1 Cooperation. Product strategy. Product refers to the expected behavior in target audience. It is important to make the audience know the benefit of the product in order to win their cooperation. According to Bryant, the benefit must serve the needs of consumers but not those of planners. In other words, the product must cater the needs, beliefs, and the value of users. Price strategy. Price is the cost of adopting the product. The costs can be financial, emotional, psychological, or time-related. Costs may also be other barriers faced when making the desired behavioral change. The first 2 months will be spent in the mobilization of students and the persuasion of partners for their participation. Pre-contemplation is the initial stage where people do not intend to change the undesired behavior in the foreseeable future for not knowing the harmful consequence. Besides, unsuccessful attempts can prevent their further effects and trap them in this stage. Contemplation is a stage when people intend to change their behavior in the near future because of the benefits. However, as said before, people possibly remain in this stage for a long period because of weighing between cons and pros. And place strategy. Place refers to the time and location of the desired behavioral change to be made. It is noted that the access should be convenient, pleasant, appealing, and available at the right times. Children's Palace is students' favorite place for all kinds of leisure activities. Promotion strategy. Promotion are persuasive communication designed and delivered to inspire and target audience to action. Bryant emphasized that the information should be attractive, persuasive, and memorable. The plan of intervention will be disseminated by posters which are attached along the way to dormitory, classroom, and canteen. Evaluation strategy. It is an integral part of social marketing with the purpose of refining activity to ensure that interventions are as effective as possible. To be specific, the planner should provide an ongoing check that if the chosen strategy and tactics are working as anticipated, and what changes should be made to make the intervention more effective. The evaluation strategy provides an ongoing check that the chosen strategy and tactics are working as anticipated, and pragmatically evaluation demonstrates success. The proof of past impact in that it provides evidence to justify future funding and partnership participation. Evaluation strategy. At the end of first month, the planner evaluates respondents' knowledge, attitude, and interest by questionnaire, and 8 months, the planner evaluates students' attitude towards bullying, empathy to the bullied, and skills to stop bullying by questionnaire. At the end of 12 months, the effect of anti-bullying games will be evaluated by proper method, and after the evaluation, the evaluation should also be made to determine the continued influence of intervention. Ethical consideration and potential unintended consequence. Ethics are norms for conduct that distinguish acceptable from unacceptable behavior. In this intervention, students are target audience to be mobilized for participation in the secondary school. All of them are under 8 years. Therefore, the planner must get the informed consent of the partners or legal guardians who are required to sign a consent form explaining the general nature of the intervention and the potential risks and harms the intervention may cause. Law of unintended consequence. The potential unintended consequences are that some students may take the opportunity to tease call names, insult or attack the students who play the role of the bullied. The harms to students by some overactive ones possible occur. These consequences should be avoided as much as possible by making students under control. And the conclusion, the planner intends to interview students for the reduction of bullying incidents in schools by role-playing games. In scoping study, the planner makes explicit the urgency of anti-bullying strategy and the theoretical model of behavior changing strategy. In the intervention plan, the planner highlights the aims, partners, and the important stakeholder. The intervention is 1 year in length and is divided into 2 phases. In phase 1, the planner aims to win the cooperation of students by pointing out the benefits and costs of the intervention in the product strategy and price strategy. In phase 2, the planner aims to move students from the pre-contamination stage to contamination stage, considering that students were consciously moving through the rest stages if they recognize the benefits of behavioral change. To ensure the effectiveness of the intervention, the planner decides to adopt an ongoing evaluation strategy even after the termination of the intervention. The purpose is that students will be kept warning the importance of the intervention. At last, to make the intervention ethical, the planner should follow the ethical principles and minimize unintended consequences. And here is the reference list. Thanks for your time. That's all.